Melbourne. Oh, terrific.
So, my name is Kelly Hutchinson and I am absolutely delighted to be here this evening in my capacity as the Deputy Chair of the Pearcey Foundation. And I really am absolutely excited that you're all here as well, and I think I can feel that energy in the room. And this is a very special occasion. It's the first time we've had a dinner in 3 years. We did have, I couldn't say it's, thank you. I couldn't say it's actually our first national event. We did have an innovation roundtable at the recent DIV Festival, which was with our partners AAA and ACS. So that was a wonderful way of us all coming back together as industry, really working together for the country. So as a proud Victorian, I am very happy that we're starting off with the State Entrepreneur presentation here. And it will culminate in Tasmania. We have our Tasmanian partner over here in November. So if you feel like coming down for a bit of a break, we hope to see you there. I'd also like to begin by acknowledging the traditional owners of the land and which we meet today, the Boon Wurrung and Woiwurrung Wurundjeri peoples of the Kulin Nation. I'd also like to pay my respects to their elders, past, present and emerging, and acknowledge where you have come from if you've travelled far from this land. I'd also like to recognise and thank the Honourable Ed Husick for coming along today as our orator for the Minister for Industry and Science. And we do know it's been a rather busy time, so we really do appreciate it. And it's actually a really nice time in the cadence of the narrative, I think, to hear your reflections after some very important activities recently. I'd also like to acknowledge Joe Lyons, CEO of Asia Pac Zero, our premier sponsor for tonight's event, and Dr. Jim McCluskey, Deputy Vice-Chancellor Research, University of Melbourne, Beth Cribb, Chief of Staff CEO for CSIRO, Kathy Coultas, Director Strategic Technology Partnerships at the moment for DJPR, Dr. Elaine Saunders from Bingara, Dr. Ian Opperman, immediate past President of Australian Computer Society, and Wayne Fitzsimmons, my illustrious Chair of the Pearcey Foundation. I'd actually like to recognise all of the people in this room because you are all representatives from all the sectors, and that's academia, government, industry and civil society, and actually often we all wear those hats at different phases of our careers. I know I have, or at the same time. I know I have, and I am. But that's what's important about innovation, and it's my favourite helix in action in this room. It's the quadruple helix of innovation. Because when we don't bring people along with us, civil society, academia and research, and business and industry and government, if we don't bring people along with us, that's why we haven't, I think, fixed some of the big problems we've got. So I'll just leave you with that one. But I'd like to hand over now to Wayne Fitzsimmons, our Chair.
Thanks very much, Kelly. Friends, welcome. It's pretty damn good after 3 years that we can all be here together. I mean, pretty dramatic. Thanks so much for coming and making this, I believe, a very memorable social occasion for all of us who have been locked away in Melbourne in particular. Welcome one and all. In particular, it's great to have our new Minister for IT, I should say Science and Industry, of course. Welcome the Honourable Ed Husick. By way of introduction, may I also just give you a little bit of history. I know we just saw quite a bit of it there. Why we happen to be here together tonight. Our foundation, the Pearcey Foundation, is named after Dr. Trevor Pearcey, who was interviewed there not long before he passed away in 1998. He was an eminent CSIRO scientist who designed one of the very first computers in the world, as we heard, and called CSIRAC, and he set it to work in 1949 at Sydney University. And we had a celebration earlier this year, because we couldn't do it in 2021, of the first computer conference that was held at Sydney University in 1951. CSIRAC is the only computer in Australia at that time and was installed on the university campus in the mid-1950s. And by the way, the Pearcey Foundation started here in Melbourne in 1998, the year of Dr. Pearcey's passing. The founder of the foundation some 24 years ago is also with us this evening. And I'd like to recognise Mr. Ian Dennis. I'm not sure where he's sitting, Ian. Minister, we're absolutely delighted to see you in Melbourne again and to deliver our 2022 Pearcey Oration. We hope this is the first of many opportunities we have working with you and your federal teams going forward. I think I speak for many in this room in congratulating you on your appointment to these two portfolios, science and industry. It was a great call by the Prime Minister. He clearly took great advice. I'd also like to welcome Mr. Joe Lyons, the Managing Director of Australia and Asia for Xero Limited. Xero are our principal sponsors this evening, and you'll hear more from Joe very shortly. Thank you very much, Joe. May I also thank all the individuals and organisations who have purchased a table or two here this evening, as displayed on the slides behind me. I don't know, not there. Before we proceed, however, I have a wonderful duty to perform. Later this month, the doyen of our industry here in Victoria will look to take her career in a different direction after more than 16 years working at the industry development groups within the Victorian government. She has taken the decision to live in rural Victoria. It's very enticing to do that. I'm talking about Kathy Coultas, of course. Kathy is someone with whom many of us in this room have collaborated over many years. I would like to ask Kathy to join me on stage and to receive a token of our appreciation for being a wonderful ambassador for the industry and supporting so many initiatives over her illustrious public service career. Kathy, please come on over. On behalf of all of us here, thank you very much for your wonderful contribution. A small gift.
Thank you.
Would you like to say?
Okay, I didn't get any notice about this, so
Really?
thank you, Wayne, and thank you to the Pearcey Foundation, and Jordan, and Kelly, and everyone, and thank you, honestly, to everybody in the tech sector that I've had the absolute privilege and honour to work with. It's just been fantastic. I get, as all of you who know me know, I get super excited about innovative companies doing amazing things, growing, employing, solving problems, taking it to the world. I love those stories. And that really has sustained me over many years, just getting to know you all, just seeing how fantastic you all are. Anyway, thank you very much, Wayne, and Pearcey Foundation.
All the best.
Thank you.
Just before I close, just a little piece of history. CIRAC was the only computer in Australia at the time, and it was installed on this university campus in the mid-1950s, 66 years ago to be precise. As a result, the University of Melbourne established one of the earliest computer science departments in the world. The computer science department here at Melbourne University, at a location a mere 300 metres from this building, also played a pivotal role in the introduction of the internet to Australia. It is a little-known fact that the first Australian connection to the internet took place in the department just across Swanston Street, a few hundred metres away, here in June 1989, just 33 years ago. So, ladies and gentlemen, for the Pearcey Foundation tonight is our first in-person Victorian and national event in 3 years. It is a great feeling to be standing here amongst you all, and I'm looking forward to chatting with you during the evening. And now, it's my great pleasure to welcome to the dais Jordan Green. Jordan, amongst other roles, is chairman of the Victorian Pearcey Committee, as well as secretary of the Pearcey Foundation Board. Jordan.
Thanks, everybody. Thank you, Wayne. I'd like to start by recognising or inviting all the past recipients of the Victorian Pearcey Entrepreneur Award to stand up. Come on, everybody. Very good. And I'd just like to let you know who they are. So no, stay standing. Over here, we've got Rick Harvey, who won the award in 2000. And then here we have Elaine Saunders from 2011. Lenny Mayo in 2013, who also went on to get the National Award from the Pearcey Foundation. And Martin Hosking over here in 2016. And then Grant Petty at the back from 2020, who also went on to get the National Award with the Pearcey Foundation. And Bronwyn McGrath over here, who got the award last year. So thank you very much to all of you. Now, our ethic at the foundation is very much about collaboration. And no better example comes to mind than the generous support that two of our Pearcey Award recipients are giving in the form of state-of-the-art technology to improve the experience for our youth at the ScienceWorks Museum, represented tonight by General Manager Jonathan Shearer. Thank you. CIRAC is on permanent display at ScienceWorks, and we partner with the museum for our schools program. And that is a relationship and a program initiated by Dr. Peter Thorne, who leads the Pearcey Heritage Program, where we combine our national ICT legacy and heritage with the future to inform and inspire our youth. So thank you all for coming tonight. What I'd like to talk about now briefly is just the foundation again. As Wayne said, it's 24 years ago that we started celebrating, supporting and encouraging Australians who engage in and excel at inventing, developing and using information, computing and communication technologies for the betterment of our society. We grow from the exemplar of Dr. Trevor Pearcey, as Wayne described, which set us off at the very forefront of the digital age. For the awards, peer selection is our hallmark of all the Pearcey Awards. Each year, the Foundation awards the Pearcey Medal for a lifetime of achievement. And I'd like to recognise Professor David Abramson, one of our medalists from 2019, who's with us here tonight. The medalist, and up to two others, are inducted each year into the Pearcey Hall of Fame for their notably significant lifetime achievements and contributions to the Australian ICT sector. Those awards, together with the National Entrepreneur Award for Pearcey, will be held, as Kelly said, in Hobart later this year. Today we're celebrating 24 years of the Victorian Pearcey Entrepreneur Award, which is an award handed out in every state and territory in Australia, except the Northern Territory at the moment. And this award recognises an individual or a team who has taken a risk, is making a difference, and is an inspiration to others. Selected by past award recipients, this is the community recognising the significant achievements of its peers. The award is for people in the midst of their career who are leading the Australian ICT sector from the very front edge of the global stage. My special thanks to the Victorian Pearcey Committee, who give generously of their time to ensure that this award continues every year with honour and integrity. This year, the Victorian Pearcey Entrepreneur Award goes to a man who has done what others said was not possible, more than once. What's more, he has done so by following a path that contradicts the popular norms of entrepreneurship today. Completing his university studies in Tasmania with a degree combining quantum physics, computer science and fine arts, he had the option to continue in a conventional research career. Instead, he chose to go to work. First, he spent a decade in large industrial corporates in Australia and overseas, creating original software that did remarkable things with data. Culminating in the late 90s by leading the R&D of a young software venture in Canada to deliver remarkable innovations that changed the reality of the entertainment industry. Out of that work, he conceived a need for data manipulation technologies that would support the scale, complexity and diversity of data to come in the decades ahead. Inspired by his time at an artistic retreat in Arthur Boyd's former home, he embarked on his mission to make a significant and long-term contribution to the way people value and leverage data, no matter what their enterprise. So he left the security of his company jobs to build brand new technologies from first principles by creating a company to self-fund research and to develop whatever idea or product seemed right and meaningful. Confident that if what he built had value, then customers and revenue would follow. He did seek venture capital early in the journey and was told to come back when he had substantial customer revenue from enterprise customers. While faced with such flawed thinking, he determined he would succeed without external investment. He worked from home with the phone connected to the fax to avoid interruptions. He took occasional labouring jobs to supplement the household income and enjoyed the unwavering support of his wife. They faced a major decision 3 years in when they welcomed their twin girls. With massive amounts of software yet to be completed, many would have given up and just gone back and taken a job. But not this extraordinary man and his family. They forged ahead with his vision. In 2003, he got his first customer by way of a friend, a small contract with the CSIRO. The money was insufficient for the work that he had to do, and it certainly didn't reflect of the value he delivered. But he understood the importance of a big win with his first customer. A few years later, his creative industry connections brought him Weta Digital as a customer, validating again his work in the entertainment industry, both the customer and the channel. In 2008, he finally moved out of home and opened an office with his first employee. By 2014, he had bought the building housing his company headquarters in Melbourne. And true to his nature, he was intimately involved in the design and implementation of a unique environment to celebrate and foster the creative work of his people. That same year, he opened a subsidiary in the USA, staffing it with people recommended through his network, which we've coincidentally discovered was a common point between he and I. Choosing to avoid what he saw as unnecessary travel, he used video conferencing to manage the USA operations, meeting the team face-to-face for the first time 5 years later. This year, he established his next subsidiary in Germany. Other than R&D and export grants from the Australian government, the company has grown with no external funding. While still modest in employee size, it is one of the most significant software companies in the world. A strategic partner to the Australian Defence Department for more than a dozen years. A key research service for this university and for many others. A core data management tool for complex enterprise customers like global pharmaceutical giant Novartis, or a global leader in geospatial data management. This company continues to outcompete the best known data management and data storage companies in the world. The primary product is a data management platform for any type of data with unlimited data workflows, which enables a single world view of all your stored data. Built on unique hyperscale database technology, it is an open and secure platform which combines data management, metadata curation, and business rules into a single distributed system. As with so many remarkable lives, an accident early on left him with a burning motivation to do better with the data. He accidentally deleted 80,000 words of his aunt's novel. For context, she won the Miles Franklin Award for Literature last year. He has now solved the problem of the lost manuscript, an innovative solution underpinned by decades of research and development. That technology will be revealed in the coming months as it moves beyond early adopter customers to deliver a monumental step change to the global backup market. He has led every development initiative required to build this extraordinary suite of capabilities. The combination of his technical expertise and roots in creative arts perhaps explain his self-styled description as a software sculptor. Last year, as part of the Global Data Mover Challenge, in a single week, he wrote an entire parallel networking pipeline from scratch, and then configured, tuned, refined, demonstrated, and documented the new product, which was awarded the most complete solution and best software architecture at Supercomputing Asia in March this year. Choosing the recipient for this award, as I said, is guided by three principles. Has the individual taken a risk? Is this individual making a difference? And is this individual an inspiration to others? I think you've already heard that our recipient tonight has certainly taken more than one risk in starting and growing an advanced technology business that offers unparalleled technologies. He has made brave decisions all along the way, sticking to his values and his independence to forge an individual path, a model for success that should inspire many other Australian entrepreneurs. Embracing a triple bottom line strategy and culture at his company has ensured his impact and influence on the national and global stage to make a meaningful and much needed difference to our future across all segments of the economy. He contributes time, money, and resources to collaborative research nationally. He co-funds systems to aid refugees, to support children in out-of-home care, to care for survivors of trauma and torture, and is pioneering a unique data management project for 60,000 years of cultural knowledge in collaboration with the Yorta Yorta Nation in Victoria. He is a founder of Hidden Champions, an organisation to celebrate privately held, founder-led innovative companies, an initiative in which he is collaborating with Grant Petty of Blackmagic Design and the state government. All of these and more mean that this man has very definitely taken a risk, made a difference, and is an inspiration. At this point, I would like to invite our friend Kathy Coultas back to the stage to present the award. Without any further ado, the 2022 Victorian Pearcey Entrepreneur of the Year is Jason Lohrey, founder and CEO of Arcitecta. Jason, on behalf of the Pearcey Foundation, on behalf of your peers among our prior award recipients, and on behalf of everyone this evening, our heartfelt congratulations.
Thank you, George.
And please say a few words.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations.
This is a pretty tricky place for a software guy, pretty frightening standing in front of this many people. In a way, it's not surprising I'm here today. I don't mean that in an arrogant way, but my father was a fitter and turner, and although he died when I was only 10, he passed on the beauty of taking a solid block of steel and turning it into anything that you could imagine. My mother, a single working parent in a fruit and vegetable department at Coles, was then tasked in bringing up two boys with very little money, a role model for resilience and making sacrifices for others. This year, my mother, aged 76, was awarded a PhD in corporate governance. My grandmother was a farmer's wife, a practical person, a person of soil and earth, a lover of cooking, gardening, sewing and making. She encouraged us to be makers and creators, and so we did for hours and days at a time. There were times of boredom too, but you need boredom. That's an essential ingredient for innovation. I've had the most tremendous foundation for a technologist could hope for, a family of writers, artists and performers. As the only practicing scientist, you might think that I'd be the odd one out, but I've come to realise that we're all hewn from the same tree of creativity. As we heard, I obtained a bachelor's degree in quantum physics and computing at the University of Tasmania. Thankfully, I had to repeat some of my first year after failing calculus and linear algebra. I say thankfully because that allowed extra time to enrol in the School of Fine Arts where I studied video. I even imagined being a cinematographer. I helped support myself at university by making toffee apples and selling them at Salamanca Market. This was my first introduction to marketing, the importance of presentation and of course running a business. I handmade and sold over 22,000 toffee apples. It was there that I learned from Dave the Pie Man that you are better off to sell 100 $1 pies than to sell one $100 pie each week, because that was more resilient in case one of your customers went belly up. Each week, I would cycle 6 kilometres to the fruit and vegetable wholesaler. This is nothing about technology. And then back again and load a case or two of apples onto my bike. I once asked, "Why do you give me so much respect when I only buy one box a week?" Their response was enlightening. "For all we know, you might become our largest customer." When I started my first job at Comalco Aluminium in Tasmania in 1991, my boss said something extraordinary. He said, "I don't want you to produce anything meaningful to start with. Instead, I want you to play." That was a dream come true. I made art with the dot matrix printer, completely useless as a product, but the process was invaluable. That was, of course, the point, because play and experimentation are incredibly valuable and underpinning the fundamental skills and the basis for innovation. I duly rewarded that opportunity by making a significant contribution to the complete redesign of the process of smelting aluminium at the plant. Anybody that works with me knows how much I value providing people with the space and time to experiment. I've worked with some amazing people, including the Academy Award-winning Cineon team at Kodak, the people at Discrete Logic, now Autodesk, where I was employee number 10 out of 450, a technology company with a heart of designers and a sculptor. Both companies had a huge impact on the visual effects industry. I've made things all my life, physical things and abstract things. My block of steel is software. It is a medium that can be moulded into any shape that we can imagine. With the right abstraction, the right data models, we can represent and model anything, absolutely anything. We are only bounded by our imagination, and that is an incredible place to be. I have written a lot of software, many millions of lines, in fact, in a multitude of languages, refining my skills and learning from anyone I can, on a pathway to a place that gives me the greatest challenge and joy. That is building a technology company that makes things, an Australian company. In 1998, I started a consulting company with my wife, Anna. The name Arcitecta was a permutation of architecture, she a choreographer, a sculptor of bodies in space, and me, a sculptor of software. In 2002, and we've heard a little bit of this, Anna was accepted to a residency at Arthur Boyd's property in Bundanon, New South Wales. Bundanon is a place for artists, but even so, I asked if I could go and they said yes. I could accompany Anna to the studio. Bundanon gave me something that is incredibly important, a creative environment and a space and time for reflection. It was in that studio that I penned the first lines of software that would turn Arcitecta into a product company, the conception and the start of a data platform that would underpin the impending data age. Arcitecta is unique. It is a data company, not a database company, not a storage company, but a company that encompasses everything to do with data, disparate data, small data, big data, any data. It's actually very hard to describe to people, and I often have to spend hours of immersion until people understand what it does. The thesis in 2002 is still relevant today, and that was to harness the power of data to allow us to collaborate, see patterns, and make discoveries. I'm a big fan of the long play and making it even harder, not only to write all that software. I've built my own databases, languages, everything, absolutely everything we've built from the ground up. But I really wanted to create a technology that can compete with anyone, and it's very hard to do that and stick to an objective that you don't know where the outcome is. So I set about doing this for decades. At the same time, be agile. You need to convince others to take a risk with you. I wanted to build a global business without external funding after my hiccup with the venture capitalists. I wanted to build a business without salespeople. I wanted actually the technologists to be the people that communicated with the customer. To build a business without telling people what we do. And there's an anachronism in the United States, for example, that patents are granted to those the first that file, not the first to invent. That is completely wrong. I wanted, as we heard, to build a business based on a triple bottom line. After 20 years, this is the first year that we're doing any significant marketing. Even still, we've managed to grow from the first customer in 2003 to just under 400 deployments today. Our customers include one of the world's Fortune 50 companies and one of the top 10 technology companies. There's nothing more satisfying to me than a clean sheet of paper and a pencil, and people hear me saying that a lot, that glorious point of inception and the unencumbered freedom to ask, what will I make today? And what can I create that might make an impact? I've come to see software making is equal parts science and performance art, and like any art, there is an audience. We need the audience, whether that's one or many. You know the audience appreciates what you've done when they declare this is a game changer. One of the aspects about this award is taking a risk, and I actually didn't see it as taking a risk. I had immense trust in my ability, but others have to take a risk on me. Your family, the people that work with you along the way, your first customer, they're all essential to supporting entrepreneurs and innovators. The Australian government is also essential to providing support for sovereign capability. We do a lot of work in defence, and the more Australian industry content there is, the more we've got a chance to innovate ourselves, and it also reduces sovereign risk. I want to particularly thank my wife Anna, who entertained me working on this for 6 years with very little or no income, and for all of the times for which there were no conversation, because as an entrepreneur you really got your head down completely. I want to thank all the creative people at Arcitecta, those people that took a risk to come and work with someone who's not always linear. I want to thank my two daughters for embracing the joy of science, both of them maths, engineering and science. I think it's fantastic. I'd like to thank Kathy for presenting me this award, and I look forward to Ed's oration. I'd also like to thank the Pearcey Foundation for recognising merit in what I've achieved, and for recognising others and celebrating an industry that is tremendously important. And above all, I'd like to thank Trevor Pearcey for being himself and an inspiration to others. Thank you very much.
Goodness me, how can I follow that, and how you've got to... Well, I can say that I did an arts degree at Melbourne University. So that whole STEAM concept, and I did an arts degree in art history, there's not really much work on that, but it does help you think, critique, and look at these things. So I think it's wonderful to hear your journey, and thank you very much to all of our presenters before.